And then we always talk about our book it moment. All right. So our book for this week is In the Loop and Up to Speed by Carolyn Taggart. And so here is the thing. I don't know if you've ever had a conversation with someone who is a subject matter expert about their area of expertise. Like I was talking about the lovely gentleman who talked about finance. He used a lot of terms that were industry known, but might not be known by the, average person. I know you say you're not average, but you might not be like up to speed and, geek speak or financial language, whatever the case may be. So a lot of times I recognize that we have to be aware of how we express ourselves. That's why we have the word for the week, to make sure that we're all on the same page. But also because of the fact that as a consultant, I don't work in a specific industry. Like, I don't just consult with IT people. I don't just work with authors, although I seem to have a lot of authors these days. I don't just work with mental health. I work across most areas. There are a few industries that I prefer not to work in because either there's too much regulation or it's always changing. Some of you are really hard to help you in your industries. It just is. But for the most part, I deal with a lot of people in a lot of industries, and every time I go to work with someone and I try to get them to answer a simple question of like, what do you do? And I have to listen to a 10-minute speech because they're trying to explain it to me. And I always say, don't use acronyms, don't use shortcut words. And it's amazing. Even like teachers have an entire vocabulary of things like IEP. Like, what? Right? If you're not in that industry or you're not dealing with helping individuals in their progress, that means nothing to you. So that leads us to this lovely Libra right here. And so the point of this book is with regards to business terms, because I too love, as I say, alphabet soup. I'm always talking about the SSC and the LLC and the ROI, and I have to go, I know you don't know what that means. So I will say the shortcut and then I will explain immediately what it is that I'm discussing. And it's not a matter of someone not being intelligent enough. Please don't talk to people like they're not intelligent enough just because they don't speak the same language as you. And that could be if they're not speaking English as well. Just FYI. And so it made me very aware of like, oh, people use the word like a word that people love and have loved for a few years. I really do hate the word. Is synergy. Yes, I hate the word synergy. Oh, sorry. Christina said that's the name of her last book. She doesn't mean it the same way, people. So actually, let me clarify. In terms of business, I hate the word synergy. Is that better? Yeah, because that's really what I mean. Because people are using it as a shortcut to not have to explain what they really mean, which bothers me. All right, so this book does an amazing job of like making sure that people understand like, what on earth are you talking about? Right? So I, of course, jump to the section that is dealing with abbreviations and acronyms. There are lots of other words that we have to talk about, and I'm always talking about a concept. Like for me, LIFO and FIFO are two of my favorite things to talk about. It's not a dog, but doesn't it sound like a pet? I'm always like LIFO and FIFO. And it's just a short way of saying last in, first out, first in, first out.